Hey, my friend, welcome to Relationshots, the place to get practical advice that actually works in your relationship. Today, what I want to talk about are 8 signs that you might be in a relationship with somebody who has an avoidant attachment style. Now, there may be nothing more frustrating than trying to create closeness and intimacy with somebody who is an avoidant. Now, if you're not familiar with terms like avoidant, secure, anxious, I encourage you to watch some of my other videos that talk about all the attachment styles so you understand what's going on. But even if you don't know what that's about, these 8 signs may give you an indication that the person you're in a relationship with does have an avoidant attachment style, and you can make some adjustments that will help you along the way. So let me get into these 8 signs that your partner, or maybe even you, may have an avoidant attachment style. Number 1 is they send mixed signals. One moment, it seems like they want to be close and intimate. Next moment, seems like they want to be a little bit distant. And you get confused because you've got these competing messages in a relationship. And so some people would say, oh man, they're just playing you. That may be the case, but it also may be the case that's just their attachment style. And so they desire closeness and intimacy, but it also gives them a little bit of fear. And so they need that separation and independence. And so whether it's about their feelings towards you or about their commitment to the relationship, when they send mixed signals, it's often a sign that they have an avoidant attachment style. Number 2 sign is they disregard your emotional well-being. Yes, even when you share with them what your experience is being in relationship with them, and you share with them what you need and desire in the relationship, they don't make any adjustments and they go ahead and choose to disregard your emotional well-being, and there may be a bunch of other stuff involved with that as well. Gaslighting, maybe some other stuff if they are manipulative to make it look like it's your fault or whatever. But at the end of the day, even when you express it, it seems that they just disregard your emotional well-being. Sign number 3 is messages are not received. Even when you try your best, when you feel like you're communicating as clearly and as best you can, they simply aren't hearing what you're saying. This is usually a choice. And on top of that, they also may make it feel to you that your poor communication is the problem why they're not receiving the message, when the reality is they just don't want to receive the messages clearly being communicated to them. So when they don't receive it, that's a sign that they do not want to be close to you in the same way that you might want to be. Sign number 4 is they ignore your desires when they're not convenient for them. So they may try to meet you in the areas you desire and need when it is convenient for them, but when it's not so convenient for them, they're probably going to ignore it. That's why so much of the game-playing dating advice you get on don't call right away and give them some space is wonderful for avoidance. Because when you're with them, they enjoy that closeness, and when you're not with them, you're playing the game of not calling and not being too needy, and they're like, fantastic, dude, I don't even have to worry about your desires or your needs when I'm not with you. These are also why many avoidants are like, hey, I'm super busy during the week, don't have a whole lot of time to hang out, but on the weekend I can spend time with you. That's because it works for them. What's convenient for them is closeness when they want it, and they don't have to worry about the lack of closeness other times. Number 5 sign is they're searching for the ideal relationship. And they may talk about it often. And they may even indicate that it's not with you. But if you really like them and you enjoy the relationship, you often will ignore the hints and cues that they're giving you that it is not you, that it's some other ideal relationship, because you believe, man, the more info I gather, the more I can make adjustments to become this ideal relationship that they're looking for. Guess what? It doesn't exist. They just like this ideal because then they can find where people fall short and then they don't have to commit in a relationship. Number 6 is they suggest that you're too needy. They suggest that the relationship you want, the intimacy, the closeness you want is too much. You need too much. You're too sensitive. You're too over the top. They make you feel bad for expressing the needs that you have and make it seem like you're the one with the problem, not them, but their lack of desire for closeness and intimacy obviously is going to make any needs you have feel too needy for them, but they suggest you're too needy instead of addressing the own fact that maybe they need to grow in their closeness and intimacy. Number 7, they only address your needs factually. When you express some emotional needs, when you express how they have impacted you emotionally in a relationship, they tend to only respond factually back, and they get caught up in all the details of what you're saying, and they'll pinpoint where they think the details of what you're saying are not quite accurate instead of addressing the emotional experience behind it. Even if you don't get the details right, we should want to hear the heart behind it. So they'll say things like, I did not say that you're dumb. I said that was a dumb thing to do. So we're just sticking on the facts. The fact of the matter is that still hurts your feelings. They made you feel like you were dumb. Whether they said you're dumb or they said it's a dumb thing to do, they still made you feel bad in the interaction. And often avoidance won't address the emotional side of things. They just want to stay on the factual side of things. And then lastly, they are looking for the one, which may seem weird because it seems like avoidance wouldn't want intimacy and closeness, but they actually do desire intimacy and closeness. They desire it in the way that they want it. So they're looking for the perfect one, their soulmate, who will check all the boxes but then not need too much. And the reality is this person probably doesn't exist, but what that allows them to do is find fault in everybody they ever date so that they don't have to get too close, so that they don't have to compromise in the areas they don't want, because they're looking for the one. And the one probably doesn't exist. So there are 8 signs that you may be in a relationship with an avoidant, or maybe you are an avoidant if some of these fit for you. But what I don't want you to do is get so caught up in the specifics of the signs. I want you to see really what the emotional stance is behind the signs, because there may be 100 other signs that fit with the same emotional stance. And the emotional stance is they send mixed signals, and there is generally a disregard for your emotional well-being. That could look like a bunch of different signs. So anybody who has an emotional stance where they're giving you mixed signals about the relationship, they're telling you maybe that they love you and they're there for you, but the actions don't seem to match up. And when you express how you're impacted emotionally in the relationship, it seems to be disregarded or pushed to the side or minimized. That's the emotional stance we're looking for with avoidance, not just a specific sign. So what can you do if you're in a relationship with somebody like this? I would say, number 1, acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge your needs, and then 2, clearly express them to the other person. Here's what that will do for you if you're dating. It will allow you to acknowledge truly who you are. And once you become your true self, guess what? You will be very attractive to the right person for you. Playing games, all the dating advice you're getting out there will make you attractive, absolutely, to the wrong person. So being your true self, expressing your true needs will make you attractive to the right person. And number 2, it will help you clearly and immediately identify if this person is right for you. Once you express your needs and desires, you will see if they are willing to meet those, and if they can meet those, and if they can't, deuces, bye, I'm out. You quickly can get out of the wrong relationship because you're identifying the signs in them and the needs that you have. If you're married to somebody, then what I would say is you need to acknowledge these needs and see if that person can make adjustments to meet you where you're at. You don't have to feel bad. There's no shame around what you need in the relationship. Express it, and hopefully they'd be willing to make an adjustment. If they don't, or if they can't, then what you can do is you can outsource some of that emotionally. I'm not talking about sexually. I'm not talking about other stuff, and I'm not talking about an affair. But you may be able to have some of your emotional needs that your spouse can, if they're avoidant, met through good friendships who are supportive, who are encouraging, who appreciate you, who validate you, so you don't feel the same level of emptiness trying to squeeze something out of your spouse who doesn't have the capacity or willingness to give it to you. So there's 8 signs. Would love to hear your thoughts on that below. Is that you? Is that somebody you're dating? And what have you found adjustments you can make that may give them an opportunity to step into a little more closeness and intimacy in the relationship with you? Drop a comment below if we can help you in any area of your relationship. We'd love to do that. If you want a free guide to intimacy, you'll see a link in the description area below. Until next time, I'll see you right back here on Relation Shots.